Tonight, a World Series title on the line in a pivotal Game 6. The Toronto Blue Jays looking to win it all and make a decades-long dream come true.
This is like a huge deal for me. This is like once in a lifetime. It's incredible.
The energy and excitement as Canada's team looks to become world champs. The fallout continues over Ontario's controversial anti-tariff ad.
I like him a lot, but you know what they did was wrong. He was very nice. He apologized for what they did with the commercial.
Why the unconfirmed apology won't likely jumpstart trade talks between the U.S. and Canada. And a spooky plot twist no one saw coming.
It's tough because most people aren't home from work, so your candy haul isn't as good.
Why kids in Western Canada have come up with a new game plan this Halloween.
Hey, happy Halloween!
CTV National News with Heather Butts.
Good evening. The World Series between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers is heading for Game 7. With the hopes of an entire nation riding on Canada's baseball team, the Jays couldn't make it happen despite leading the series heading into tonight's game.
Jimenez floats one, left field. Hernandez makes the catch. Back to second. Game 7 tomorrow night.
The Jays made a late push in the 9th inning, but came up short. The series is now all tied up, forcing a deciding do-or-die Game 7 tomorrow night. Fans right across this country are cheering on this team, but in downtown Toronto, where they were playing, it's certainly an emotional night. We'll go live now to CTV's John Valley-Rao outside the Rogers Centre. John, a lot happened during this pivotal game. Walk us through it.
Well, really, the most exciting part came in the 9th. Everybody was kind of hoping for a Joe Carter moment like what happened in 1993. They almost kind of got it. I mean, it was 3-1 for the Dodgers when Addison Barger stepped to the plate. There was a Blue Jay on the bases. Barger hit this ball into the outfield. It hit the fence and got lodged at the bottom of the fence in the crack. It was an incredible moment. The Dodgers in the field didn't know what to do. They were pointing at the ball to the officials. Everybody seemed to be confused while the Jays were rounding the bases. It looked like they had scored 2 runs, potentially tying the game, but the officials ruled it a double. And so the Jays went back onto the bases, and that's how the game ended, 3-1 for the Dodgers. So a remarkable finish, not the way Jays fans were hoping for. Some disappointment there. We go to a Game 7. For Major League Baseball, though, this is a dream scenario, a Game 7 World Series. For ratings, this is going to be absolutely huge tomorrow night, not just in this country, but in the United States and in Japan, where fans in Japan closely watch those Japanese players on the Dodgers. So it is going to be some anxious moments tomorrow night, a do-or-die game. As you said, one team tomorrow night will be crowned World Series champions. Will it be a storybook ending for the Blue Jays? We're going to have to wait one more day to find out. Heather?
All right, another game. CTV's John Valley-Rao for us this evening. John, thank you. With tens of thousands of fans watching inside the ballpark, they capture the big moments from many different angles. CTV's Raheem Ladani is on the other side of the Rogers Centre and has some fan reaction for us this evening.
It truly felt like we were in for a Hollywood North ending. The Jays were pushing in the bottom of the 9th, but then in a stunning plot twist, the ball got stuck under the wall. Yes, Alejandro Kirk was on base, and Addison Barger hit an absolute bomb, but the ball got stuck under the wall, and it also stopped the Jays' momentum. The Jays couldn't rebound after that. They got 3 quick outs, and the LA Dodgers have now tied the series at 3. Jays fans streaming out of the Rogers Centre right now are dejected. They're disappointed. They felt like the World Series championship was within their grasp, but they still are optimistic for tomorrow's Game 7. Have a listen to how they're feeling right now.
That ball that got stuck in the wall really felt that it took the momentum from the Jays.
It went from 100 to 0 real quick, but at the end of the day, it was a fantastic game, fantastic fans. Toronto is unreal, and I think, we got to win in Game 7. No one thought we were going to come this far, so we're happy to be there. It was a robbery.
Jays in 7.
Jays in 7.
So what happens next? Well, Game 7 is tomorrow, and there have been 40 Major League Baseball World Series deciding Game 7s, but there hasn't been one in 6 years. The Blue Jays still do feel like they can take this and bring a world championship to Toronto for the first time in 32 years because they have been the comeback team throughout the season. They led the majors in regular season comebacks, and in this postseason we've seen they were down 2-0 in the ALCS against the Seattle Mariners. They came back to win. They lost that marathon 18-inning game in LA against the Dodgers. They won the next 2 games in Dodger Stadium. The team has what it takes. What they need to do now is flush this game, have a short-term memory, and get back to track, knowing whoever wins tomorrow are world champions. Reporting, I'm Raheem Ladani, CTV News, Toronto.
Turning to other news now, and word tonight from Donald Trump that the Prime Minister apparently apologized to him over that now infamous tariff ad produced by the Ontario government. But as CTV's Jeremy Sharon reports, that doesn't mean trade talks are back on.
Back on U.S. soil after meeting with world leaders in Asia, U.S. President Donald Trump confirming talks with Canada aren't restarting.
What did you talk about with Prime Minister Carney? Are you and Canada going to resume negotiations?
No.
Trump and Prime Minister Mark Carney spoke during a working dinner earlier this week with other world leaders in South Korea, the first encounter between the two leaders since this Ontario government anti-tariff ad prompted Trump to halt negotiations.
I have a very good relationship. I like him a lot. But you know what they did was wrong. He was very nice. He apologized for what they did with the commercial.
On Thursday, the Prime Minister's office confirmed Trump and Carney spoke during the dinner, but didn't make mention of an apology. The Office of the Minister in charge of Canada-U.S. relations declined to comment today.
Our job is to respect their choice and deal with whoever is in the White House. And so it's up and down with Canada, but we'll just have to bear through it as we make our way in getting a trade agreement, a new trade agreement with our American neighbor.
Washington has accused Canada of being difficult to deal with in negotiations. Trump's National Economic Council director telling CNN Canada hasn't been playing fair.
So President Trump won't stand for it. He's tried to negotiate with the Canadians to get better deals for Americans, and they've been, frankly, rude and dismissive, and this is how it gets to where we are.
Carney's government has said it stands ready to resume negotiations whenever Washington is ready, and Canada's ambassador to the U.S. says lines of communication remain open. Heather?
Thanks, Jeremy. CTV's Jeremy Sharon in Ottawa. Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada's relationship with China is at a turning point following his meeting with that country's president. CTV's Judy Trin has those details.
The face-to-face hosted by China marked the first time in 8 years that a Canadian and Chinese leader met officially. Mark Carney expressed regret for lost time.
Distance is not the way to solve problems, not the way to serve our people with people-centric growth, as you have advocated. Pragmatic and constructive engagement is.
The meeting lasted 39 minutes. According to a readout from the Prime Minister's office, the leaders discussed trade issues, including agriculture, canola, seafood, and electric vehicles. There's no deal, but there's dialogue.
We now have a turning point in the relationship.
The freeze in relations began in 2018 after Canada arrested Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou at the request of the U.S. In response, China detained Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig. Then in 2022, Xi scolded former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in front of cameras. Analysts say recalibrating with China must be done carefully.
Mr. Carney will be able to have firm views on difficult issues related to human rights, religious freedom, and so on, while at the same time saying, let's discuss how we can work together.
We are going to have to play our own game with China based on our own interests and our own ambitions.
This was the second time Carney has met Xi. Previously, they met in 2016 when he was governor of the Bank of England. There will be a third meeting too. Xi Jinping has invited Carney to China for a state visit. Judy Trin, CTV News, Gyeongju, South Korea.
China's ambassador to Canada says his country supports Carney's goal of increasing exports from Canada over the next decade.
What I'm looking forward is not only double our trade if both sides have enough capabilities and have enough competitive products, why we not make this trade triple than what we already have now?
In an exclusive interview with CTV's Power Play, the ambassador said China is committed to working with Canada to resolve their tariff dispute. China imposed hefty tariffs on Canadian canola and seafood products after Ottawa slapped 100% tariffs on Chinese-made EVs. U.S. tariffs hammering Canada's auto sector are making it harder for workers. Later, we meet a family that's been in the industry for over a century and find out how their future is now in question. Canada's economy shrank in August, but advanced estimates suggest a recession might be narrowly avoided. The GDP contracted by 0.3% in August, but slight growth is expected in the third quarter as a whole, which would keep the country from slipping into a recession. The Air Canada flight attendant strike, as well as slowdowns in manufacturing and mining, contributed to the decline. The death toll from Hurricane Melissa has now reached nearly 50 people after the storm tore through the Caribbean. At least 30 people have died in Haiti and 19 in Jamaica, where Melissa made landfall Tuesday as a powerful Category 5 hurricane. Much of the island is still without power, while aid is just starting to arrive. Canada has earmarked $7 million for humanitarian assistance. And Melissa, now churning northward, is bringing gusty winds and rain to parts of Atlantic Canada. A spooky forecast that, as Sarah Plowman reports, has some communities postponing trick-or-treating until tomorrow.
Halloween started with a spell of rain. Puddles to add to potions. Sam McLennan didn't dare display all her decor.
There's definitely more decorations that I wanted to put out, but some of them were styrofoam based, so between the rain and the wind, they weren't really going to hold up.
At this haunted house in Fredericton, volunteers guarded the gory show with tarps. Still, water leaked in.
Luckily, a lot of our group are engineers, so they've been able to construct our haunted tour here to sustain the rain.
The remnants of Melissa and a Texas low brought rain and wind to much of eastern Canada.
This, as I say, could potentially be the wettest day, Halloween day in Ottawa's history.
Rainfall warnings in the Maritimes spooked some communities to postpone trick-or-treating, including Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island.
I think we erred on the side of safety and security, but another 19 other communities across the province are postponing until tomorrow.
In Fredericton, the rain vanished in time for Candy to appear.
Were you going to have to wear your raincoat? Did you think you'd have to wear your raincoat maybe?
I did. So my dad bought us ponchos so you could still see our costumes.
Plan B wasn't needed. In Ottawa, this costume suited the situation.
I'm pretty much set for the rain. Got my raincoat.
Charlottetown's mayor says they did receive some pushback for this decision to postpone trick-or-treating, but he thinks it was the right call. And notes kids will have 2 cracks at Halloween, today at school and tomorrow on the streets. Heather.
All right, Sarah, thank you.
I'm Andrew Johnson in North Delta, BC, coming up on CTV National News.
Families feeling the affordability squeeze.
Juice is becoming a luxury.
What kind of relief they're looking for from the federal budget and how it could affect you. Coming up on CTV National News.
Affordability is one of the big issues expected to be addressed by the Carney government in next week's budget. Tonight, we are speaking to Canadians facing rising costs on what would help them the most. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson brings us one family's story of struggle.
Crack it open.
In the Higgins household, Mom and her helpers are making sourdough from scratch, trying to save.
The cost is, $4 or $5 a loaf. My kids go through so much bread. So much bread.
And the family of 5 is making tough choices at the grocery store.
Juice is becoming a luxury. Something that I'm like, maybe we need to stick to milk and water for the kids.
Ahead of budget day, Caitlin Higgins' ask from Ottawa is a way to pay less.
Gas and groceries, those, they really drain our accounts.
The family is fortunate to own their own home in one of the most unaffordable regions of the country. In fact, 3 generations of the Higgins family live in multiple homes on what used to be one lot. Next door, Caitlin's brother-in-law Patrick is feeling the same pinch.
This morning I went out with my girlfriend. We went to a park, and before we got a couple coffees and like breakfast. It was like $30.
Patrick is pulling for the feds to forge a quick path toward economic peace with the U.S.
Find a way to smooth that out, and I'm not saying, appease everything that Trump has to say, which is not the answer.
Peekaboo. Peekaboo.
Patrick's parents tore down the rancher they raised 7 children in to build 4 smaller homes and help their kids. They want to see all levels of government help more people do the same.
The federal government could do a lot by giving tax breaks to people that redevelop their own property. We really want young people, not just our own kids, but other young people to have a chance to own a home on the ground where they can put down roots.
Thinking outside the box on housing, cheaper groceries and gas, and a smoother way forward with the U.S. The asks from the Higgins family in North Delta, BC. Go! Andrew Johnson, CTV News.
And you can watch a live coverage of the budget this Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on CTV News Channel and ctvnews.ca. Canada's Supreme Court ruled this morning against mandatory minimum jail sentences for people who access or possess child pornography. The court deciding that a 1-year minimum for those crimes is unconstitutional. According to the High Court, while minimum sentences act as a deterrent, they remove a judge's discretion to impose other sentences when appropriate. FBI Director Kash Patel says a potential terrorist attack planned for this Halloween weekend has been stopped before it could be carried out. Patel says multiple suspects who were allegedly plotting a violent attack in Michigan were arrested in Dearborn. Local police posted that they were aware of an FBI operation and there is no threat to the community. Mixed reaction on the streets of London today after the King's decision to strip his brother Andrew of his title of Prince and force him from his Windsor home.
I think it's the right thing, but I think there's just too much publicity and noise about it.
He doesn't deserve it. He's wrong. He shouldn't have done what he did.
It should never happened until he's been proven guilty. They've gone for him. Witch hunt.
Buckingham Palace announced the King's decision yesterday, seeking to distance the royals from Andrew over his ties to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. 65-year-old Andrew is Charles' younger brother and the late Queen's second son. Still ahead, on the brink. How a family that's been in Canada's auto industry for generations is dealing with uncertain times and an uncertain future. For many Canadians, working in the auto industry is a family affair. But U.S. tariffs have caused major upheavals throughout the sector and spawned fear and uncertainty for thousands of employees. As one family in southwestern Ontario tells CTV's Adrian Gabriel, the tariffs not only threaten their jobs, but their way of life.
Here we have my father in a Ford and my grandfather.
For more than a century, the auto industry has been part of the Lawton family's story.
This here was given to my grandfather. It's the 50-year anniversary coin.
It says 1903 right on there. Mm-hmm. Family history.
Family history, yep.
Kristen and Chad Lawton met working at Ford's Windsor engine plant. Their 2 sons, Brody and Caden, are the 5th generation of their family to do so. Like so many, their future is now in question.
Are you concerned that you could be the last generation of your family to work at Ford?
There's always that concern.
When my parents had started at Ford Motor Company, there was 6 plants in Windsor, and now there's obviously only 2 plants.
They all want to come back to Michigan and build cars again. You know why? Because of our tax and tariff policy.
In recent weeks, Stellantis moved assembly of the Jeep Compass from Brampton to Illinois. General Motors halted production of its electric delivery van in Ingersoll, Ontario. The livelihoods of thousands of families hang in the balance.
If we don't act now, these pressures will only grow.
With the federal budget on the horizon, Ottawa is announcing a $5 billion strategic response fund to support automotive and other sectors under siege.
We're fighting for their jobs.
They need to figure this out, and it has to be more than just words.
I don't think a lot of people realize just how detrimental this could turn out to be if it's not handled properly.
To ensure families can continue to put food on the table, the Lawtons believe a strategic plan for Canada's auto sector is needed.
If you want to sell here, you have to build here. We have plants here right now that are sitting idle that 100% need investment. The shareholders are laughing and the working class are not.
The stakes in this part of the country are high. With every layoff at a large auto manufacturer, it's estimated that 7 spin-off jobs are impacted as well. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Windsor, Ontario.
Still ahead, an unexpected trick this Halloween. Why many young ghosts and goblins had to alter their plans. With all the excitement around the Jays, it might have been easy to forget that tonight is Halloween, and parents were challenged to make a double play, ensure their kids cashed in on the candy and caught the big game. CTV's Kathy Lee shows us how it all played out for some families.
Trick or treat.
This pint-sized Jays fan and his friend devising a game plan on Halloween, determined to score big on both candy and baseball.
Run around the block as fast as I can possibly and get as much candy as I possibly can and then go watch the game.
The strategizing and an early start necessary because that pivotal game stepped up to the plate just as trick-or-treating hit its sweet spot for the night. And there was no way this Alberta family was going to strike out on either. Even Dad, on candy duties, is prepared.
We got a few friends with TVs in the garages, and we're going to project the game on one garage door for everybody to see, and then we got I can put the TV on in the garage here so people that are coming by can keep an eye on the game too.
Blue Jays fandom runs deep in this household. Their basement, a dugout of their dreams. Jared Moulds and his son Elijah scored tickets to Game 4 and 5 of the World Series.
I get goosebumps thinking about it. To experience it with my son was a dream come true.
The 9-year-old even went viral on social media for his emotional reaction at a Calgary Flames game when the Jays advanced to the World Series.
Those were tears of pure joy.
Crazy. It's unbelievable that they made it.
And although he may miss a bit of the game getting his candy haul,
hopefully only miss 4 innings.
The hope is his favorite team,
Go Blue Jays,
knocks it out of the park. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
A Halloween to remember, and Game 7 goes tomorrow. That is our newscast for all of us at CTV National News. Thank you for watching. We leave you tonight with some images of our CTV family sharing their support for the Jays, as well as their love of Halloween. Good night, and I'll see you again tomorrow.